Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline coming at you. Guys, mid-May, players are heating up after their slow starts. Looking at you, Aaron Judge, finally dispelling those rumors that he's hurt or washed at his elderly age of, 32?
Yeah, it was all over. Washed, got the contract, done.
Those thoughts were real in a lot of baseball fans' minds. But I want to start off by talking about some new data that's out there. You know how baseball has become, I guess, overly analytical. You know, a lot of fans say that their teams have been too reliant on the analytics. Not enough baseball guys. Guys don't, pass the eye test. They look at numbers. And that dates all the way back to Moneyball and how the A's didn't win a World Series with that, yet everybody thinks it's the greatest system to build a team. So the new data that came out is called bat speed. Now, hearing that, you might think it's just how fast you swing the bat. I think that would have made sense too. But the way that they're measuring this, it's how fast the sweet spot of the bat reaches the ball. So how quick you're getting the sweet spot to the ball. Because if you have a long swing, it could still be quick, but that sweet spot takes a little longer. So the list that I have has the top 11 guys. So this is how we're going to go. I'm going to go 11 to 1. Once we get inside the top 5, I'm going to have you guys guess who the top 5 players are. I'm going to start at 11 so you guys at least have an idea of how this is going. 11 would be Yordan Alvarez, who averages 75.9 miles an hour. Juan Soto at 76.1. Julio Rodriguez, 76.2. Joe Adell, 76.3. Judge, 76.5. Christopher Morel, 76.7. Ronald Acuna Jr., 76.7. Matt Chapman, 76.9. And now let's just go with the top 3. Who is number 3 at 77 miles an hour in bat speed?
I don't know if they're 3, but I have to guess that Giancarlo is in the top 3. I mean, he has the hardest hit balls, and from the guys that you're naming, you'd think he'd be in there.
Giancarlo is number 1 on the list at 80.6.
Yeah.
Is it Ohtani?
Ohtani's not in the top 11 in bat speed.
See, that's weird because he has some of I think he's hit some of the hardest, fastest balls.
He does hit. It's just not as consistent. Number 2 on the list, I think, is right up there with Stanton with hard hit balls. Had a massive 116 mile an hour single today. And then number 3 is a guy that I don't think of as quick bat speed, but a lot of power. Any final guesses before I give it away?
Let me think on it for what is
They're both National League. I'll give you that.
Okay. So is Schwarber one of them?
Schwarber is number 3.
I was going to say Schwarber.
I don't think of Schwarber as a guy that's quick to the ball like that. Just somebody with massive power.
He hits moonshots, shore bombs. He gets them really high.
Is one of the Cardinals, Arenado or Goldschmidt, the other one?
No, they are not.
How about Matt Olson?
We said Matt Olson.
Did we do some Matt Olson? I must have.
No, my bad. That was Matt Chapman, not Matt Olson. It's not Matt Olson either.
Pete Alonso.
Nope, no Alonso.
No?
Are they East, Central, or West?
One's in the. Number 2 is only in the Central.
Central, and they're not one of the Cardinals guys.
Be on the Reds?
He's not on the Reds.
No.
You were thinking Ellie.
He hits the ball. He hits some power.
Ellie's not a. Ellie's not a.
He does everything fast.
Ellie is not a bad guess at all.
If Ellie's not a bad guess, it makes me think it's O'Neal Cruz.
It is O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah.
At 77.7. So if O'Neal Cruz is 2 at 77.7 and Stanton's 1 at 80.6, just think of the difference between 1 and 2, and that's a bigger gap than 2 to 11.
Do they have a league average for bat speed, or they just do?
I didn't see the league average. I can check real quick.
Because I'm just wondering, the disparity, how much of disparity is from the top 11, how much the drop off you get when you go down to 12 and lower.
Well, I mean, you just saw like the drop off from 1 to
Well,
2
yeah,
is
it's
bigger than 2
crazy.
to
So it's
11. I
like,
mean, Stanton is just connecting. He is destroying
yeah,
baseball.
but
Like
sometimes,
it doesn't make sense. So my question I want to pose to you guys is: does bat speed have a correlation to elite play?
Um, elite play, no. Elite power, yes.
I
I
think
think it
that's the
just
best
means
way to look at it.
they're
Based on
squaring the
that
ball
list.
up really well, and they're getting like they're getting the full power behind their swings. So
Because it was not even like guys on that list, like it's only when they hit the ball too. Because you have a guy like Soto who bats in the 280s versus Stanton, a guy who hovers around 220, 230. And so it's not
Schwarber,
even like you hit for average based on the speed there, but even Soto when he
Yeah,
singles, they're hard hit.
I mean,
I just think
Schwarber
it's
bats like 200.
right.
He'll
Yeah.
like he'll blast like 40 home runs.
But when
I
he
just
hits
think
the ball, it
right.
Yeah,
goes.
it
It's
goes.
interesting because you have all these guys that have a lot of power, but the batting average ranges so inconsistently. You got guys like Judge, Soto, Acuna, J Rod that'll hit, pretty decently high batting averages. Then guys like Stanton, Schwarber, that are kind of on the
Chapman.
bottom. Chapman, of course. And then somebody like Joe Adell, who probably out of everybody on the list has, solidified himself as a big leaguer the least
Yeah,
with the
Chapman's an
Angels.
interesting one for me because he's not even a guy that I think of for power either. He's just a guy that I think of for defense. So it's interesting that
Yeah,
he was on this list. I mean, it could just speak to an outlier rather than the
right.
mean.
But it's definitely something to, think about because we see all these, wild hits, It's awesome when you see a ball lasered for 120 miles an hour. I wonder if we'll see somebody break 125, 130 at some point with all these, people, all the players now they're training to get that bat speed and that, exit velo. So I wonder how fast we can end up seeing a ball go off the bat because all these guys are just training and getting stronger and stronger. But it really doesn't correlate to being an elite hitter, just elite power. So is that a detriment trying to focus on this? Or is it just something that it's a stat, but it's a nothing stat?
I wonder what the training to focusing on it would consist of. I wonder if more so it's a detriment to build your team only factoring this in. And that's kind of a double-edged sword because 3 Yankees made the list. So it's not something that I loved saying, but it does kind of speak to some of the problems that we've had with Yankee philosophy in the past where it's like that's cool that you want to get guys that can hit the ball hard and hit it out of the park, but you also want to get guys that can get on base for the guys that hit the ball out of
I
the
think a
park.
Yeah,
lot of these guys walk a lot though, because I mean, you look at Schwarber and Soto and some of them, and they I mean, I don't you don't look at. I mean, I was just looking at Schwarber. You don't think he walks up, but he walks a ton compared to how much he strikes out.
I wonder how often Chapman walks because I wonder if this speaks more to guys who are selective with their pitches as well. I mean, obviously, we know Giancarlo Stanton is not, but when he does connect with the ball, he's just a different
right.
animal. But
And
the
at
other
least the
guys on
pitchers
this
pitching
list,
outside more walks.
Acuna, Schwarber, Julio Rodriguez, Judge, Soto, they're all pretty selective and get walked or don't swing, but you're 6'7", so it gets called a strike anyways. But conversation for another day.
It's just interesting. Like you talked about roster construction. Remember when the Yankees traded for Clint Frazier and all they talked about was, his lightning bat speed and how, that seemed to be the only thing that they really talked about when it came to him.
Yeah, it
It's
feels like a Yankees analytic.
Matt Chapman, by the way, 9 walks on the season so far compared to 44 strikeouts.
So an outlier. Gotcha.
Outlier. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I'm interested to see how this correlates to a full season as well, just because this is a new stat that's being put out there. It's not one that we have for years past, completely. So we'll see how this goes. But I now also want to bring up Paul Skeens. We've been talking about him. We talked about Jackson Holiday, all these rookies getting brought up, making their debuts. Skeens had a really nice start to his debut, left only giving up 1 run in the middle of the 6th inning, I believe. But with 2 runners on, then the Pirates decided to not find the strike zone. Walk, walk, walk. Then a rain delay, then some more walks. And not only did they give up 2 runs in the name of Paul Skeens, so he ended up having 3 earned runs on the day, but they ended up blowing the game.
Welcome to being a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Welcome to being the Pittsburgh Pirate is right. And it's just, you have probably the most hyped up pitching prospect since Steven Strasburg, if not even more so. Just how do you do it to the poor guy?
Well, there's a reason they were in the position to draft him.
That's true.
As simple as that. But they have to be happy. I mean, he 7 Ks. I mean, he looks good out there. He was,
Splunker, whatever he calls it.
listen, he looked better than Jackson Holiday did in the MLB. I'll say that.
For sure.
I mean, he wasn't perfect. I mean, he has I think he has to. I guess he was a little wild, but I think that's just because it was his first start, so he'll probably settle down his next start and stuff. And I think you're just his pitch count's just going to be high because that's how it is with strikeout pitchers. Like you're just going to throw a lot of pitches. But
Yeah.
the thing is, are the Pirates going to let him go? And throw those pitches, let him get deep in the games, or are they gonna keep him on a short leash and just take him out early every game?
Right. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I wonder how many pitches he'll throw. Only throwing about 85 in his first start, and he kind of seemed a little gassed. And I also wonder if he stays in the majors if they don't decide to throw him back down to the minors at some point.
Well, hold on. We've had this conversation before, and this is the way that the MLB works. If the Pirates are winning games because of Paul Skeens and battling for the playoffs, he'll stay up. If not, they will send him right back down right before that time of use gets to that point where he could start to get arbitration. So they will send him back down.
Be winning games and being in the playoff contention.
The NL Central isn't impossible.
No, not impossible. As we stand today, the Pirates are in third place, 6.5 out of the division, 3 games out of a wild card spot. And they got to jump the Cubs and the Brewers, who both have 24 wins, to the Pirates 18.
Not impossible.
Yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'd say that Paul Skeens ends up going back down to AAA and the Pirates end up missing the playoffs. But, hey, baseball is a game of runs, and if you're hot at the right time. So, if they do what the Cubs did last year to end the season, but a little earlier, could happen.
Next up, we have the Twins, who won their 6th straight series. They had a rough start, but they've kind of bounced back. They're battling. They're a team that we thought were going to be good, but then just struggled mightily early on. Now they're a half game out of the division behind Cleveland, and they should be battling that out. But now we'll go to one of our favorite segments, studs and duds. Now, for me, my stud, Brent Rooker of the soon-to-be formerly known as Oakland A's. He played in 6 games this past week, 24 at-bats, 11 hits, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 walks, but he's hitting .458 over the last week for a 1.321 OPS. Just a mighty offensive performance that's buried on a bad team that isn't quite as bad as we thought they would be. Then we got my dud, St. Louis starter Miles Mikolas, 8.10 ERA over the past week. That's 2 games started, 10 innings pitched, 9 earned runs, 13 hits, 6 runs, just 6 Ks, I mean. Just an awful, awful week for the oldest rotation in baseball.
Yeah, have yourself a week. The Cardinals are an interesting team. I had higher hopes for them. I'm excited to announce my stud is Aaron Judge after a slow start to the season, batting .333 in the last 7 days, 5 runs, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, drew 5 walks, only struck out 3 times in that time. Aaron Judge is looking like Aaron Judge. He leads the Yankees in home runs. So, despite all of the struggles, still at double-digit home runs right now. If Judge can get going, the Yankees have already been really, really good. We're going to talk a little bit about them later, but I think the pieces may be falling together for the Yankees to have a very good June going into the All-Star break, even into July. And my dud this week, one of my favorite players, so it hurts me to say, but Xander Bogaerts. Listen, you get 4 hits and 23 at-bats and strike out 6 times in a 7-day span. You have one of the worst averages in baseball. You're going to find yourself at that spot, especially when the Padres are competing for a wild card spot. Every game matters. They need you to show up now more than ever. It's May. Let's shake off the rust.
My stud this week is Willie Adames from the Brewers. I mean, he came in clutch for them this week. I think the one game he had on this week, he had 7 hits, 3 of them were doubles, a 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and 2 walks. And I think in one game he went 3 for 4 with 3 doubles, and then in his other game with the home run, I think was a walk-off home run. So like he's playing really good for the Brewers right now. And then my dud this week, who probably had his worst start all season against the Phillies, Jose Barrios, another Blue Jay. I think I had Bo Bichette last week, and now I have Barrios this week. So
you did have Bichette last week.
Two Blue Jays in a row. I bet you're probably really happy, Corey. Very happy.
Everybody knows the Blue Jays are Corey's second favorite team.
Barrios gave up 8 runs against the Phillies, but he didn't get 7 strikeouts through, which is pretty amazing for like all those earned runs.
It's either a hit, an RBI, or a strikeout. Nothing in between.
I mean, he's still bad, and he still has a 2.85 ERA on the season, but it was just.
Where's the movie, John? Show me the movie.
Just not a good game.
Not a good team.
They really don't. They're not. They're really not. I feel like they should be better than they are, but they're not good.
No. But you know who is good, John? Let's start off our new segment that we started last week, but with a name now. Pauline's Prospect Powwow, where John takes us through a division and their prospects, letting us know who's good. John,
this is the MLB Pods version of Colts Report Weekly, huh?
It is. So last week we did NL East. So this week I picked the prospect from each team from the NL East that I think is good. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did last week. I'll give you the name. You can get a guess to see if you know what team they're on.
I feel like we might do better with this.
I think you might.
This is AL East, by the way. You said NL East again.
I said last week. Oh yeah, last week did NL East. This week's AL East. My bad. So I'm gonna start off with this. You guys should both know him, Spencer Jones.
Yankees.
That's
1 point, Dylan. 0 points, Corey. I said it first.
So
I gotta be quicker than that.
He's the Yankees' second-ranked prospect. He's the 70th ranked prospect in MLB's top 100. He was drafted. He was originally drafted out of high school by the Angels in the 31st round in 2019, and he was actually ranked as a 2-way prospect back in 2019. But he ended up going to Vanderbilt and then got drafted by the Yankees in 2022 in the first round, 25th overall. So he jumped from like 31st round all the way to the first round and stuff. And he was a 2-way prospect, but he had to get Tommy John and then he stayed a hitter ever since. And so he was a right fielder in college, moved to center field in the minors, probably stay at center field, has above average raw power, strikes out kind of a lot, average speed. He has a 29% whiff rate in 2023. So, I mean,
he's working on it.
He's batting 250 in Double-A right now. ETA's 2025.
Close starter.
But he can be good. I think he's just got to work on this. Going to work on the
Yeah, but how
strikeouts.
tall is he?
How tall is he? I don't have his height.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
you
tall.
want his height.
You
He's
want his height?
Aaron Judge Jr., but bats from the left side of the plate.
And a better defender, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you think I think he's really athletic. I mean, being a two-way prospect prior to Tommy John surgery, I mean, has to be
I mean,
athletic.
6'6", 235. Talk about athletic.
So
Lanky. He's to fill into that build a little bit more.
yeah, but maybe maybe he can play the outfield more. So we'll see.
Right,
I like him though.
I do too. I'm really excited to see him.
It's a shame to
Untouchable
get
prospect.
Tommy John though. Because it would be kind of cool to see if he would kept the two-way prospect status going and
I'm still dreaming of
into the
Brent
pros.
Honeywell trying to take the mound again. So
Okay, but now we're gonna go to the next one, and I really like this one. This guy, Enrique Bradfield Jr.
Oh, that's Rays.
Corey?
it's Toronto.
Ooh, no, it's my team, the Orioles.
Ah,
How do you not go Kobe Mayo, man?
Dude, this guy, this Enrique Bradfield Jr. He's the Orioles' fifth ranked prospect. He's drafted in 2023, first round, 17th overall. He's currently center fielder in high 8 right now, batting 235, ETA's 2026.
235.
Yeah, but if he was staying in the draft, he would have been the fastest player in the 2020 draft. Instead, he went to Vanderbilt, like Spencer Jones. This is all like two guys from Vanderbilt around the same time played, but
And
this guy is
Vanderbilt
fast.
not doing well in batting average. I see.
No, was it Anthony Volpe was committed to Vanderbilt before signing with the Yankees?
But this guy's fast. In 3 seasons in Vanderbilt, over the 3 seasons, he stole 130 bases. In 3 seasons, and he has 80 grade speed. 80 grade speed.
I wasn't familiar with your game.
80 grade speed on a scale out of 80. So this guy, like they scouted him, he's like the top, elite speed, and he gets comparisons to Kenny Lofton.
And
It's so
which country
scary.
will he be representing in Paris this summer?
No. So I mean, and in his first pro debut, he only got caught stealing 2 times out of 27 attempts.
How scary is it that Baltimore's like best players aren't even up yet? Like
Don't even
Jackson
up yet.
Holiday, Kobe Mayo is going to be the best.
Well, listen, this is the thing with prospects. They always look good on paper down in the minors.
Yeah, but for Baltimore, they also look really good on the majors on a roster.
I don't think Jackson Holiday looked too good this year, personally.
I mean, I got faith in Jackson Holiday.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna bounce.
I wasn't
back.
going to write Judge off after 2016 either.
Well, I'm not writing anybody off. I'm just, let's.
Pitching's going to be their big caveat. They still need to re-sign Burns.
Yeah, you
Grayson
can only have
Rodriguez-
so many of the exact same player, Baltimore.
But
Grayson
Does
Rodriguez
this guy also have a mullet?
this guy, no,
No,
he doesn't. No. He doesn't have a mullet.
He'll never be called up.
Doesn't have a mullet. But I mean, he has elite speed, good defender. I mean, only 2% whiff rate. I mean, he makes a lot of contact, not a lot of power. But I mean, when he comes up, he's gonna be like your like elite leadoff guy. He's a typical leadoff guy.
He reminds me of Jorge Mateo, who's already on the Orioles, from the way you're describing him.
That's exactly who he sounds like.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
Was Jorge Mateo part of the Sonny Gray deal?
I don't know.
I want to look that up real quick because Jorge Mateo was a top Yankee prospect who got traded to Oakland. Let's see. I mean, the A's traded him.
Yep.
The Yankees traded Mateo, Dustin Fowler, and James Caprillion to the A's for Sonny Gray.
Well, figures. It'll come back on the Yankees.
But
so there's always a connection to the Yankees.
But I mean, just like, I think the Orioles are just like stacked with prospects. Like they were just bad for so long, and they just have so many like prospects. Just like in their farm system right now. I mean, he's not even ranked in the top 100, but I by far think like I think he's going to be good.
Should be a crime to lose on purpose like that just to have a really good team.
I don't know if it was on purpose.
Win now, man. Come on.
Okay, but the next guy I got is I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his first name right. I couldn't find the pronunciation on it, but it's Yoelin Cespedes.
Oh, Yoelin Cespedes is a Red Sox.
It is, yes.
1-1.
He's
1-1.
18 years old, so he's a young
Any
dude.
relation to the horseman Yoenis?
I looked it up. No, he's not. But his father was I think a catcher in the Cuban league.
Okay,
I
okay.
believe.
My
What position
headcanon
does he play? What position does he play?
He is a shortstop.
My headcanon is that this is Yoenis' long lost son, okay?
Okay. But he's a shortstop. He's in the Florida Complex League right now. He's batting 125, but he only played 2 games. His ETA is 2028. They said he's the most advanced hitter in the 2022 international signings, like draft, like international signings, like last year. Has comparison to I think Howie Kendricks for his hitting ability and stocky build, good baseball IQ and work ethic that stood out. He's like really advanced for his age, like at hitting. Like he's recognizes pitches, manages the strike zone well, and he hits harder than most people his age. So like this guy's sounds like almost like a baseball prodigy. It seems like he's just way ahead of it, but he has average speed and strength. You know, might not be like a everyday shortstop. He fits the build of the second baseman, third baseman better. But in the Dominican Summer Rookie Level League, he batted 346 and was named the Red Sox Latin Program Player of the Year last year. So this is someone to keep your eye on, you know, if you're a Red Sox fan. But he's not going to be out for a while. But this is someone definitely to follow.
Yeah, 2028. That's probably the next time they'll be good. So
yeah, I'll probably be part of that. I mean, he's their 7th ranked prospect on the team, but you know, young guy. This guy doesn't have braces like Jose was it Jose Perdermo from the the Braves, I think. Yeah. Ben was this one doesn't have braces. Okay. Next guy, Carson Williams.
Rays.
There you go.
Blue Jays is the next one. We're tied 2-2.
So Carson Williams, he's the 2nd ranked prospect on the Rays, 17th top 100 shortstop. He's in Double-A now, batting 330.
They could use a shortstop.
They can.
No, Tyler Walls. Come on.
They have Justin Caminario, who plays third base and shortstop.
Yeah, but they could use like a young generational prospect type guy at shortstop to give a ton of money to.
Bona fide.
We need Junior Caminero back.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not up, but this guy's a bona fide shortstop. His ETA is 2025. He was drafted 1st round, 28th overall in 2021. He had his first 2020 season in 2023. 23 home runs, 20 stolen bases in high A. He's good reaction, hands, and range. He has a minor league Gold Glove award already. So it's like, I mean,
of course he does.
Is his personal life clean?
I think so. And then when he was in school and stuff, I guess when he pitched, he would hit 95 mph when he would throw too. So this guy, like,
so he likes schools, huh?
No, but this guy's like a bona fide shortstop. This guy's he's gonna be a solid shortstop, possibility to be an all-star shortstop for them. I mean, honestly, you know, you can forget about the last shortstop they had.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be fun, but it's no longer fun because I'm just hearing about good prospects on all 4 of the division rivals.
I would take Spencer Jones out of all of these prospects so far, though.
So
yeah, easily.
I don't know.
Easily.
Jones is taller than all these guys stacked on top of each other. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
See, it's
Like
fun
against
when
Dallas.
it's not your division. When it's another division, that's when it's really fun. But the last guy who's on the Blue Jays, because Corey already guessed it, so with his psychic abilities, Addison, was it Barger?
Bust.
He's outfield, third base, shortstop, AAA
Shocker,
now,
not a pitcher.
not a pitcher. He was already up in the majors for, I believe,
Wow,
five
this guy sounds
5
exactly
games.
like Dalton of our show.
Yeah, this guy was up for 5 games up in the majors this year. He batted 56, but only 18 at bats, and they sent him back down.
What's his name? Addison Berger?
Barger.
Barger.
He's drafted in 2018, 6th round, like 176 overall. They like great upper body strength produces like great exit velocity. A quote from his prospect page. This is a quote from the page on MLB on his one, like they did the write up. Barger could break a bat in half just by looking at it. That's a straight quote from his page.
Well, after striking out for the 3rd time in a game, maybe he'll do it.
Did his dad play Major League Baseball to stick with the Blue Jays theme or no?
I don't think so. I didn't see anything about
Ooh,
that.
he might actually be good then.
So, in 2022, he had 18 home runs in Single A. He had some right elbow problems in 2022, which
Already
hurt a
hurt.
little bit.
How many of those home runs were off of like Alek Manoah in a scrimmage or something? Though? I mean, just inflating their stats in that complex league.
So,
Again, I'm hearing that he's already hurt.
But he hits the ball really hard, but a lot of the balls are going into the ground. So, like, his goal for 2024 is to like start like getting under the ball and lofting it up more. And if he does
sounds like all he wants to do is hit pop-ups.
That's all. He just wants to hit the ball.
Sounds like you listened to the first part of our show and took it way too seriously.
Exactly. I mean, this goes back to like the bat speed thing, where like you have a lot of these players striving for that bat speed and the exit velocity and hitting the ball hard, and it's like they're okay with striking out or popping out and not hitting for average and batted 200, but hitting 30, 40 home runs.
Just what the Blue Jays want, a guy that hits the ball on the ground in a division with Clay Holmes, who gives up ground balls 70% of the time.
Yeah, that's probably why they sent him back down, because I think he needs to work on it. But I mean, if he doesn't, he can easily be up there and be with like that 30 home run range. But
so now that we're moving off of our new favorite segment, let's talk some ball. Talk shop here. Now, got some Phillies I really want to get into. Again, I'm going to the game against the Mets. Want to see some fireworks. Maybe a Taiwan Walker, Jose Quintana dual no-hitter perfect game. Something
where
fun.
the Phillies win, of course.
Let's not get too far. I'm going to be in Philly, and I absolutely hate the city of Philadelphia, okay?
It's not that bad.
It's that bad. But it's not the Phillies that I hate like that. Sorry, Dylan. No, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
How are the Phillies are probably, I think, the best team in baseball right now, right?
It's looking like it. I mean, it looked like they were going to lose to the Mets tonight, but Edwin Diaz blew the save, and the Phillies won in extra innings. So
sounds like they might be the luckiest team in the ML.
But that's part of being good, though. That's part of being good, Dylan, being lucky.
I mean, how healthy are the Phillies outside of the Trey Turner injury?
I know Schwarber's been out of the lineup for a little bit. I think with back stiffness, and JT's dealing with some knee soreness. So I mean, injuries are starting to pop up a little bit, but I mean, it just seems like they just have the players to fill in. I mean, you have like Sosa stepping up at shortstop, and he's hitting. I mean, Whit Merrifield has been very solid, good pickup for them in the offseason. He's been doing well. I mean, they have the players to fill in, but it's like, I don't know how long it lasts, because, you eventually want your starters back in there. But I mean, as of now, I mean, an injury here and there they can fill in, but you just hope for nothing too long term.
Yeah, I have two things on the Phillies. One, it looks like they finally figured out how to turn the playoff team into the regular season team because every playoffs, they were this team. They
Yeah.
were a top tier team. It just never translated to regular season. And two, again, a guy who I was never high on. I could be wrong. I'll give him flowers. Alec Boehm, 329 batting average, leads the Phillies in RBIs, sixth in the league with 33. This guy's been executing in the middle of the lineup for them whenever they need a big hit. He's been delivering. So, timely hitting has been there for Philadelphia.
Yeah, they're doing good this year with not leaving players on bases, which has been a problem for them a lot. But now they're actually hitting them in. And like going off to think they're in the playoff team into the regular season team, like they're actually playing good at the start of the year this year compared to other years where they, turn it on in like, August, September. Now they're doing it like earlier in the season and getting that lead.
But is that something that's sustainable though? We've seen them do this run in October, but don't you think they're blowing their creative and fun? You don't think they're blowing their ability a little too early in the season?
I think the way that if you look at the Phillies, I think the way they're built is like as a team, I think they can sustain this for the whole season. I mean, obviously every team gets into slumps and stuff, but you just hope they get into the slump like, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a load of things you could point to with Philadelphia. But I will say this baseball, it comes in waves. I'm sure they'll have some down stretches. I think it was very important for the Phillies to get off to a hot start to be able to compete with Atlanta for this division because otherwise they were going to be toast because you knew Atlanta was consistently good. Philadelphia seems like more of a roller coaster esque team. Hopefully they could be hot come October. But, would I be shocked if they had a 2-week stretch where they won 2 games? No, it'll happen. It's baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Phillies are just a good team, and they're one of the most well-rounded teams in all of baseball, if not the most well-rounded team right now.
Bullpen can use some work.
Yeah, but name a team whose bullpen doesn't need some work.
True.
Not even the Yankees. The Yankees need some work.
They need a better
I feel like
lefty than
relief
Caleb
pitching
Ferguson.
in the
Caleb
whole league.
Ferguson, Dennis Santana. My hot take with the Yankees is that despite Clay Holmes being like on a godly tear, is that he's not actually playing all that well. Like I am terrified every time.
A 0 ERA is pretty good.
Oh, it's very good, but like he gives me a heart attack every time he's there because like here, like I don't know if you guys saw any parts of the Yankee game on Friday night.
Yeah, what was it, like 34 pitches for a save?
34 pitches for Clay Holmes. Didn't give up a run, but had the bases loaded, 2 outs, and he couldn't find the zone. He got gifted a questionable strikeout that was like 3 inches off the plate for the second out. He just couldn't find the zone. And, this is what you do get. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's not a strikeout guy. He's a guy that's going to have them put the ball in play and have your defense make plays. The caveat with that is guys will have hits. They'll find a hole. So I just think that he needs to do better limiting that and being more consistent in having those 1, 2, 3 outings. Because with him, it's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, guys that he faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's never that easy 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Dylan, am I wrong? Is it
No. Clay Holmes is
a roller
for the
coaster?
theatrics.
Right. So, albeit having an amazing start to the year that I hope he keeps going, he does scare me a little. He's not somebody I would look to re-sign at all when he's a free agent.
Well, everybody's got a price that you'd re-sign him for.
Given the price, you're right.
We could talk negative, but we could talk positive because what I was more focused on was Garrett Cole was pitching.
What's going to happen when he comes back?
I mean, he'll be the ace. I think for the first month, you probably see a 6-man rotation. That way, because this injury was very scary to us. We speculated on Tommy John with the way that the Yankees were
Yeah.
talking about the injury. It doesn't look like it's heading that direction. It looks like they have handled it well. They're not in a rush to bring him back because of how well everybody else is kind of held up. And one of those somebody else's is Luis Heel. He's been phenomenal.
A
But
2.51 ERA.
the thing is, Clark Schmidt's also been really good. So neither guy deserves a demotion.
There's
I think
one guy that does deserve a demotion, low key. But he's
They're
also
not-
the most fun guy, and like I don't want to do that to him.
they're not demoting Nestor. I don't know what your disdain for Nestor Cortez.
I love Nestor. No, I love Nestor.
Like,
But he is our worst starter.
He's got a 4 ERA. Like, that's pretty good for your worst.
Your worst, I know, but like,
do you think he could come out of the bullpen?
no, just because he just was never able to in Seattle or Baltimore.
Here's my thing. They can ride the 6-man rotation throughout the regular season, and I wouldn't complain. But come playoffs, it's going to have to be at most 5.
I would say
then it's
that,
like, who gets chopped down?
I would say probably Schmidt gets dropped down at that point, or Heel, because you're not dropping Stroman or Rodon or Cole.
Yeah.
Those are your top 3. Playoffs typically go 4-man, to be honest.
Right. That's what I mean. I guess it'll probably that would probably just be based on who's performing at that time.
And I would probably say Nestor gets the nod just for experience.
Right now, if they started today, it would probably go Heel. He's been the best pitcher on the team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Heel has 15 starts in his career, and he's got 6 shutout starts.
Yeah, and I mean, he leads the Yankees in wins, which I know wins isn't really a pitcher stat to some people.
No,
leads the Yankees with a 2.51 ERA.
It means he's putting his team in a position to win.
Nestor has the most strikeouts on the team at 51, but Heel's in second at 48. He has 10 Ks per 9 innings pitched. He leads the team in that. He's got the best WAR of any pitcher on the team. And that's better than Clay Holmes, by the way, who has a 0 ERA.
And what, 11, 12 saves for Clay?
Something like that.
But I don't know. The Yankees, I just think that they're playing really well, but they haven't even reached what they can be.
So what I'm hearing is the Yankees have too many good pitchers that you don't know what to do with them all.
Starters.
Too many starters.
And it's crazy to be in that position.
Well, the Phillies
after the trade for Juan Soto, when the Yankees traded all their starting pitching depth, and it was like, Juan Soto's awesome, but it was, guys, are we sure? I mean,
plus you got Clayton Beater in the minors, who's still ready to go.
Michael King hasn't been that good.
Yeah. Speaking of Soto, he's kind of cooled off, but like even when he's cooled off, he's like amazing still.
Yeah. I genuinely believe the Yankees and Phillies are the 2 best teams in baseball, which I wasn't sure if we were going to get to say that on the podcast ever. But it's nice to be able to say it.
It's nice.
Judge is back, right? He was 2 off the league leading home runs, I think. Yeah,
and like Judge coming back around, Cole not even with the team yet. Like, granted, other things are going to happen, and there's going to be ups and downs for players, but Stanton hasn't been great. Rizzo has had his ups and downs.
Stanton hasn't been great, but he also hasn't been as bad as his bad stretches have been in the past years.
No, for sure, and I think that's due to some of the role. Gleyber Torres has been bad. But we've had Soto, Judge come around, still need Cole. I mean, you could argue the Yankees' 2 best and most valuable players, Judge and Cole, one hasn't played, and the other one's played really bad, and they're still up there contending.
And I mean, you're still missing DJ LeMahieu, Jason Dominguez, guys that were expected to be contributors at some point this year.
Yeah, I can't wait for Dominguez to get back. He's going to start hitting soon, apparently.
I think he actually did start hitting. He played in a minor league rehab game, which is way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, that's that young body.
Harper, he had the same injury as Harper.
What was that?
Did he have the same? He had the same injury as Harper Dominguez, right?
He had Tommy John.
Yeah, Harper came back early too, though.
Yeah, but Harper also wasn't a 21-year-old who only
True.
had 15 games in the majors.
Yeah, a lot of times they do also give timelines that, oh my God, he's exceeding it.
I
Like,
think they give like the worst case scenario timeline, like like
yeah,
kind of what would take the longest.
if I remember correctly, Harper didn't play any rehab games really when he came back from that injury. He kind of just got slotted into
I
DH right
think
away.
Didn't he just
just
start DHing in that Dodgers series? Am I
yeah.
correct there?
I think they just started working him in immediately, but it took him like almost all the way till like September to start hitting though.
Yeah, which is a worry for me with Dominguez and why I don't think they should bring him up right away. I think they should send him down to AAA because the roster sorts itself out. But Verdugo's been surprisingly fine. Like I have no issue with Verdugo. Judge is Judge. Soto's Soto. There's not really a spot for Dominguez right now in the starting lineup, and
Well,
I want him to
especially
get every day at bats.
you do like a young prospect like that. You want him to get every day at bats, and it's like
Yeah,
with Harper, I don't
I'd
think he even
love
has
him
the
to
power.
get
Yeah,
out there. That way, Judge can get out of center field. I hate him being in center field. Listen, it might be unpopular. I'd give Dominguez a shot, switch hitter, speed, and I'd let Soto DH. I know that like Stanton's there and you have to play him. I, I'd, I'd see what you
or
got.
hear me out. Put Judge in left field. Yankee Stadium has a very big left field.
And then what? Bench Verdugo
I mean, I would bench Verdugo to have Dominguez, Soto, and Judge,
and
and then allow
Stanton.
Verdugo and Stanton to,
you could
you know,
platoon him.
platoon and DH a little bit. I mean, Stanton's a bat that you do want to be in the lineup,
Stanton's
especially with.
got a $27 million contract that they want
I don't,
to
I
be in
don't
the
give,
lineup.
I don't care about the contract at all.
We
I,
don't. They do.
no, but like, I think we're past the point with Stanton where the contract and how much he's making matters in terms of playing time because it's about winning now. And I think Stanton being in the lineup most days does give us the best chance to win. But I'm also a big Stanton homer. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's batting 230, not great. 8 homers, 20 RBIs, a 735 OPS. And then when you look at Verdugo, he's batting 243, 5 homers, 17 ribbies, 726 OPS. So,
right.
Isn't 240 like the league average this year for batting average?
The league
Like right
average is
now,
pretty much Chris Davis, who just retired. So, RIP.
so
yeah,
But
I mean, Stanton's not that far below league average.
no,
no.
He's
and he
just,
gives you pop.
yeah, and he gets thrown out from right field as he's going to second base.
But let's go to our weekly series highlight. For me, the series I'm really interested in is Seattle at Baltimore. Seattle, who's got possibly the best pitching staff in all of baseball.
Go
I think they have
Manners.
the lowest team ERA. They play one of the most potent offenses in the Orioles. And it's a test for a lot of the Orioles young guys and how they can hit elite pitching multiple days in a row because not many teams have front end guys multiple times throughout their rotation. Teams tend to have one, maybe two really good guys. Seattle's got like 5 of them.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that shakes out for Baltimore. Hopefully Baltimore loses and Seattle uses all their wins so the Yankees can overtake Baltimore and then get Seattle after they're on like a beating a good team, high.
Yeah, agreed. I got the AL Central weekend series, Guardians, Twins. Looks like these two teams will be competing for the division with the Royals potentially down to the wire at this point. Just interested to see, two teams that are competing interdivision play baseball this weekend.
So I'm gonna stick with the Central thing here. I'm doing the NL Central matchup. Pirates and Cubs. You're gonna see Paul Skeens get a second start against the same team. Maybe the Pirates actually let him pitch more, let him pitch so he can get in line for the win this time.
See what the Rains got in store.
But I mean, this is also an important one for just the NL Central in general because I mean the Cubs are like one game behind, and then the Pirates are 6.5 out. So it's like if the Pirates want to be in contention, like gotta win this series.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier with will or will not Paul Skeens be on the MLB roster all season.
But that's going to do it here for us. Right. Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. We've gone on droning long enough. We'll see what the next week holds. We'll have some more rankings out next week, see how things have changed over the last 7 days. Check us out, outsidersports.net, for those rankings. Twitter's Outsider Sports 3, YouTube, TikTok. Just search up Outsider Sports. You'll see us in these lovely mugs. But that'll do it. For Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline, signing off.